Hello and welcome back to the third rail. We are in the dark because I'm just getting into the garage. I shall get us some light. There we go. As you can now see, there is a rather large pile of stuff waiting for us on the layout. Let me power more things on. It's my usual routine. Come on. There we go. Over the last few days, I have been busy servicing a few F7s I've had in the collection for a while. Now, the reason for this is a collection milestone. I just received the last locomotive I needed to complete a part of the collection. I now have one example of every US-themed model released by Mrklin in the 1980s. So it's a good excuse to take the entire American contingent out for a spin today, most of which I have actually never seen in action until now. So this is going to be a first for all of us today. In case you have missed the disclaimer at the beginning, here it is again. We are going to look at 40-year-old models based on even older tooling, running on a 3-rail analog AC system. 21st century realism is not on the menu today, obviously. Now, if this is what you were expecting, then this video is not for you. For those among you who are still watching, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe and alert button before leaving today. Super thanks are also available if you feel the content deserves it. Whatever the option you choose will be much appreciated. Now, on to our topic. The latest arrival is a pair of Burlington Northern F7s. We have a Mrklin 3181, which is this one on the track. It's a motorized unit. And the other one is a 4181, which is a matching dummy with a different running number. Now I'm going to get this one out of its box. There we are. They are both in new condition, but I got these at a discount. We'll see why in a minute. I have serviced the motorized unit already, but I still need to look at the dummy. The chassis looks very clean. The wheels on the back bogie are stuck, which is a sign it's not been used for a while, if at all. And we have a very common issue with those, which is that one of the signal horns on the roof is broken. And this was the reason for the discount. So I'm going to have to do something about this. Otherwise, I dare say this unit is in mint condition. So it's time to get some tools. Both locomotives are very old schools, even by a 1980s standard. It's a typical 1960s combination with a zinc die-cast body fitted to a sheet metal chassis. To take it apart, we have to first remove the front coupling to then be able to lift the body. And to access the coupling screw, it is better to remove the pickup shoe to avoid bending anything. So with it out of the way, I can now remove the coupling screw. It also holds the fake bogie in place. And I can then loosen the body screw at the center of the chassis, take the weight off, not that this loco needed one, it's really heavy. And finally, I am able to lift the body. Cool. See, it's as simple as it gets in here. I'll start by freeing the wheels. I'll apply a tiny drop of oil on the axle bearings. Then I'll apply a bit of pressure and free them with nothing else but my fingers. And I'll move them back and forth until I no longer feel any resistance. That's it, all done. I'll lubricate the other bogie while I'm here. And that part is done too. Now let's look at the body. The missing or broken horns are so common that Märklin still makes them. They are the same for all F7s made between 1961 and the 2000s, at least. I think maybe even later. They are about 6 to 7 euros for a bag of 4, and the reference number is E215930. Now, to fit them, the broken bits need to be removed first. They can be pushed up from the inside. The glue will break easily. I'm using my tweezers here, but a wooden toothpick would work equally as well. And that's it. Now the new one simply slots in place. It's a tight fit, so gentle persuasion is required. I won't glue anything given the force it took to get these in. I think I'll be fine like that. Okay, so I shall put this back together. And I'm going to park the 2 units out of the way for now. Okay, time for a little parade of the collection. Let the fun begin. If you opened the Märklin catalogue in 1980, you would have found a choice of only 2 American locomotives and 3 wagons, a boxcar, a gondola, and a caboose. They were all based on tooling introduced in 1961, apart from the small caboose, which had first appeared in a Union Pacific livery in 1971. So you had more choice than for most other non-German lines in the Märklin catalogue, but I wouldn't call this a lot. But this was the way Märklin operated at the time. You could have turned to Railbox for help, as they had a very large choice of American wagons and coaches. They were all fitted with compatible loop couplings, and Railbox also sold you 3 rail replacement axles for use on the Märklin system. Look at all these beautiful items. But my collection is about Märklin, so we won't see any of these today. We'll start with something you have seen before if you follow the channel. I've put a link to a video at the top if you'd like to see it. These are the oldest and longest running Märklin F7 references, the Santa Fe 3060 and its dummy, the 4060. Both were released in 1961 and remained in the catalogue for a whopping 36 years. We are pooling a combination of 4571 Western Pacific Boxcars, 4575 Dixie line Gondolas, and a 4578 Caboose. Now I'm going to try and keep the speed as low as possible, so we are going to see quite a few variations in speed in various parts of the layout today. This tooling wasn't made to go slow, unfortunately. We are still in the toy era. Anyway, looks like it still works as well as it did when I first put it on the layout in the previous video. Who knows, the slowdowns might look more prototypical? I don't know. I don't really care about this type of things. Does anyone feel a rush of nostalgia? I certainly do. Okay, time for a change of traction. The other locomotives available in 1980 were the Rio Grande 3062 and its matching 4062 dummy. These models were produced between 1976 and 1984. Now it is the first time I see this one in action. I've had this model for at least 5 years, I think. Now on this one I had to replace some horns too. We are using a ever so slightly higher throttle setting here, so we are keeping up speed a bit better now. And yes, we are already going too fast. I quite like this yellow livery, it's very nice. Very pretty. Time for the next one. In 1984, Märklin did a refresh with a new lineup of wagons. We have the 4564 Chessie system boxcar, the 4574 Union Pacific Gondola, and a Southern Pacific Caboose, all still based on a 1961 tooling, even the Caboose this time. And the Rio Grande locomotives made way for new F7s in a Southern Pacific Black Widow livery, reference number 3129 for the motorized unit and 4129 for the dummy. Both still based on the 3060 tooling from 1961. I think it's a very nice new look. These models remained in production for a short 5 years and were all replaced in 1989. In the catalogue that year, next to the Santa Fe version that simply refuses to die, we have new Burlington Northern versions. The 3181 and 4181 we had a look at the beginning of the video. We are dealing with another paint job, you'd have guessed it, and that's the same for the new wagons introduced that year. We have 2 boxcars, a 4773 Railbox and 4776 Conrail, 1 gondola, the 4774 Sioux line, an ATSF Caboose 4777, and a 4775 Burlington Northern Caboose. Now I have quite a few of these, so I have put a longer consist together for our Burlington Northern F7s. Look at that! So I'm still trying to go for low speed here. The transformer is set at just over the 100 mark. We can see we are slowing down over curves a bit. Let's see if we can manage the ramp at that setting. Oh, it's getting slower and slower. Will you make it? Yes, just. Okay. I know some of you like slow speed or scale speed, but I find this utterly boring, to be honest, especially with this type of models. Basically, I think I'm trolling a few of you. Isn't that boring? Now, it would be a shame not to use the ATSF Caboose. So I have put together a train with the remaining Sioux line and Railbox wagon I have, and the Santa Fe F7s are back. Not sure that would have been possible, but to be honest, I don't care. From this little journey through 10 years of Märklin production, you can see that they try to make the most of their initial investment. My collection only covers the 1980s, but this wasn't the end for the toolings we have seen today, as numerous releases followed until the 2000s. The F7 tooling came out at a time when model railways were simply posh scientific toys, so the purists will most certainly find hundreds of things to whinge about. But looking at pictures of the real thing, the model captures the most important features and is very close to 1:87 scale. At 17.5 centimeters buffer to buffer, it is only 2.4 millimeters shorter than it should be. It's basically 1:88 scale, which is much better than some might assume. And it would explain why it could be used for such a long time. You'll surely have noticed the distinct lack of B units. These only came out from 1990 onwards. There were a few releases that could be added to discontinued lines, such as the Union Pacific or New Haven editions. It would take until the end of the 1990s for these locomotives to be able to run at more realistic speeds out of the box, with models fitted with 5-pole motors and decoders with adjustable motor regulation. But from 1989 onwards, you could also have retrofitted an analog 5-star propulsion system to improve driving characteristics at low speeds, on curves as well as when climbing ramps. But I love these models, with all what would be perceived today as weaknesses. This is what makes their charm, in my opinion. And whilst I am happy to have finally completed this part of the collection, I must admit this leaves me wanting more. Märklin got much more adventurous from the 1990s onwards and released plenty of exciting models since then. And it is definitely an area that I'd love to pursue as a theme in the future. But not before achieving the goals I set for the collection. And that is still going to take some time. Well, that was it for today. We have reached the end of this installment. Thank you very much for spending so much of your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, hopefully enough for you to give it a like, and maybe even subscribe if you haven't already done so. Or send a super thanks my way if you feel the video was worth it. Thanks as ever for all your support, and bye for now.